Hi everyone, I'm Jessica Stutzman and welcome back to the Millcreek Government Channel. During today's show, we want you to experience downtown Erie like never before. For many, the incredible convenience of walking to work attracts them to downtown living. But there's so much more. The views of Lake Erie sunsets, the green spaces, including the bayfront trails, the arts, nightlife, great restaurants, and exciting sporting events are all within easy walking distance. Joining us today to discuss all there is to offer downtown is John Buckna, Chief Executive Officer for the Erie Downtown Partnership, along with the Manager of Downtown Events, Dave Tamulonis. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Well, we're really excited to have you back on the show. We realized right before we started that it's been quite some time since we've had you on the Millcreek Government Channel, and it's been since 2017.
Wow.
Since we last talked about your impact report and your plan that you were developing. And so I really just want to talk about everything that's happened since the last time we talked.
Oh, well, thanks again for having us, because, so many Millcreek residents and so many residents outside of our, our community are part of our downtown. Those that live there, well, some that live there, but ideally those that work there and come down for the many attractions that you mentioned in the introduction. I mean, the downtown is the core of our community, and it has tremendous assets, as you mentioned. And the plans that we put in place, and as you mentioned back in 2017, you have a downtown plan, you have a citywide plan, and then you have a countywide plan. And those are all connected by design. And were those plans that are in place, and then here's Millcreek is underway has their plan out there, and even some other surrounding plans like Corey and Fairview and Girard Lake City are all also going under plan. So you're really looking now to connect a community.
Yeah, absolutely. And we mentioned this, I'm a Millcreek Township resident, but I'm downtown all the time. I love everything that it has to offer. I love the bayfront, and I love everything that you guys have even done with your website. It's so spectacular, and I know we're gonna get into it here as the show goes on, but what are some of those new ideas that you've implemented?
Well, let me just mention that, with the advent of these plans, the question always became is where do you start, and how is it you move the community forward? And a lot of investors, primarily the private sector investors, and even those institutions, they said, let's start at the core. And so that's why you're seeing right now is a lot of investment is going on in our downtown community. A lot of new buildings going up. We say it's a good thing because, when's the last time you saw a couple of construction cranes in downtown? But there's a lot of change coming. And tools like our website and social media are ways for us to keep communicating, like this opportunity here, about change that is happening in our downtown, in our community as a whole. But realistically, the goal is still the same. We want people to come downtown to be safe, we want them to have fun, and we want to make it a welcoming environment.
And it does. It feels very vibrant, exciting, and a lot of energy. I feel it when I go downtown.
Yeah, and we're looking to elevate that. In fact, Dave has joined our staff, and it's just been a tremendous asset simply because we understand that people want more. And that's part of the change is, we have a long list of ideas, and, there's a cleanliness aspect. There's a safety aspect where, we're an organization that works closely with the city that provides people every morning cleaning up the cigarette butts and litter, the wind blows things around. But ultimately, you want to make it inviting for people to come downtown. They want to have fun, but they want to be safe in doing it. So we work very closely, as I mentioned, with the city, with the Parking Authority. You have other groups like Visit Erie, the Erie Regional Chamber, and even the newly formed Erie Downtown Development Corporation. I mean, many groups are working together to make our community for a brighter tomorrow, is what we say.
Absolutely, and I love that, again, just that aspect of feeling safe. And, as a family and as an individual, that's what you really want. You want to feel safe when you go somewhere. And you guys are introducing recently a new push, a new campaign toward Come On Down.
Yeah, and I think that's what I was going to mention is that with the change in trying to say, what group it makes sense for our group to be a group that is working with the others, as I mentioned, but to step forward. So this past year, we looked at truly what they could say activating downtown, trying things differently, gauging and asking people, through surveys and just other elements, but what is it they're looking forward to in their downtown? And what we heard was that they wanted to be more active, they wanted to be more engaged. So we developed a campaign that says, come on down, get connected. And there are some components about it, but ideally it's about being with family and friends and in your downtown community. And again, this is what part of what Dave's role has been, is working to really so that people have fun and they're really engaged with others.
Yeah, and I think again, bringing the community together to talk and to hang out and to take do events together and exercise classes. I think that really does bring a community together. So tell me a little bit about how you're involved in all of this.
Yeah, so I was brought on in June as the manager of downtown events, and I've, hit the ground running and started to, plan and organize some of the events that we've had going on. We saw a lot of success this summer with our yoga classes, our Dance It Out Downtown, events that are engaging, that are making downtown a fun, welcoming environment, and trying out new types of events. We had a Glow Yoga event in September that was had a phenomenal turnout, and we had a lot of good feedback for. So it's creating events and experiences that people can engage with each other, connect, and experience a different kind of event downtown.
And the ideas that you get for holding these events, is it something that you have come up with and you have a light bulb go off, or is this some of the feedback that you received from those surveys?
It's a lot of different things. It's a lot of feedback. It's looking at best practices from other communities, other similar organizations that are putting on events, trying to do the same things in their communities. And it's a lot of experience that I've had from in my own background, going to events and planning events for other communities.
And I see there's 4 different ways that we can come on down and get connected. So can we touch on those 4 categories?
Yeah, so we have Come On Down, Get Down, which is our pop-up events, concerts, anything fun, celebrations, stuff like that. Block parties this past summer, we had some pop-up events. We had a concert on top of a parking deck. We had a pop-up event called Machine Alley that had a band and some craft breweries come in and activate a vacant alleyway behind a business. And that's the Come On Down, Get Down series. Come On Down, Get Connected is more for connecting to downtown businesses, for letting people explore and discover new ways to enjoy themselves downtown. And the big event in that category was 1650 Friday. It was basically a First Friday type event where people are encouraged to come down and spend at least $16.50 at a downtown business to go with the zip code 1650, whatever in the downtown. So we've seen a lot of success with that, and a lot of businesses participate, have raffles, have specials that day, and that's an event that we hope to continue to grow next year. Come On Down, Get Active. Series of events we've had with that is yoga. We did the Glow Yoga event. We've done the Perry Peddlers Walking Group, and just Strollers and Strides, mom and children stroller walking group. And that events like that are sort of we've activated the park by putting these fitness classes there, and we've also activated Dobbins Landing. And a lot of great feedback we heard from that is that people love to be down by the water. They love to enjoy that part of Erie, and that's what really sets our downtown apart from other communities, is this world-class bayfront. And I think that people really enjoyed a chance to experience that and enjoy it this summer in our series of events. And then the Come On Down, Get Creative series of events is we had a kids' story time in Perry Square where kids could come, and we had guest readers from the library or the school system come in and read stories to children. And then the Dance It Out Downtown, which is a 15-minute dance break on Fridays at 12:15 to 12:30. And we just activate Perry Square stage and play music, and people who walk by dance.
That's amazing. That's incredible.
Well, when you go back to when you look at a lot of investment, as we talked about earlier, but if you look at just Perry Square, almost $4 million were invested in Perry Square, and it's vacant most of the time. and you have a large captive audience of many people who are working there and are visiting and with food trucks and so on and so forth. So that's been a core area. Dave mentioned the Bayfront, but even Griswold Park, we did a few events, and like he said, top of parking decks, and it's a larger footprint, but it's the reality that there's so many things to do. Yeah. We're just trying to make it, much more fun and exciting to be part of our community.
Absolutely, and I'm looking at these events, and some of them, again, are for, the younger crowd who wants to get out and listen to music, and included in that also family events, for young toddlers and for families. So this is so wonderful. What I want to know next, what are your ideas for the future?
Well, and I think you're going to continue to see the progress. We, as I mentioned before, we understand it. We're working on today, but we're working on tomorrow and the next day. And you have your economy, so there's still a lot of economic development and more change coming with buildings, the addition of new businesses in downtown, and those are all going to work well with our surrounding neighborhoods, with our surrounding communities, and we're really trying to reestablish a different community, or different, I should say, economy for Erie. You have some more high-tech firms that are looking to be in part of downtown. You're seeing some more space development. And that's an element of wanting to be there. Where we work with them is the fact that you want to, like as I mentioned, have some safe and be fun, and there's where the future plans for activation. We've got a few big events coming this fall that we're excited to be part of, but it's really into next year. And Dave mentioned earlier about the reality of surveying, so we're going to have some more opportunities for people to express their voice, because it is their downtown. So we want to know what they're looking for and what it is they want to do. And I think if that works into our framework, then we can start testing it and really start to draw more people, build more critical mass.
Wonderful. And so I really want our viewers to know about these events coming up this fall, this winter. So let's touch on those next. So everybody get out your planners and your calendars, because we're going to write these days down.
Good.
All right, so Small Business Saturday is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, the day after Black Friday, and we have a lot of plans right now to activate downtown businesses, get them really involved in promoting the downtown as a destination to do their Christmas shopping. So that's coming up the last week in November, and then the week after that we have Downtown Delights, which is our Christmas tree and park lighting ceremony, and that's going to be really special this year. We've got Santa and the mayor are going to come in, meet with kids at the Boston store afterwards. They're going to light the tree, the park, the tree topper. There's going to be holiday music, choir. We're working with the Harry T. Burleigh Society to showcase one of Erie's legends, an African-American composer who was born here and really popularized spiritual music in popular music across the country. So really bringing in different groups and giving people a lot of options that evening. It's also gallery night. It's also going to be a 1650 Friday, so that's Friday, December 6th.
So Friday, December 6th, and what time does everything start?
Everything kicks off at 5 p.m. in Perry Square, and it's going to be at the Perry Square stage. You're going to be able to stand there, enjoy some music, get some free cocoa and cookies, and wait for Santa to come in and light the park.
Wonderful. And I love that we're doing, again, just this light up night. And I also love that, it's during the winter, because I think sometimes we tend to hibernate a little bit in the winter. And, just because the lake is frozen doesn't mean we can't still get out and do things.
I was talking with a group earlier today, and that's part of that vision we have, where we have the community event, the community light up event was very hallmark moment last year, and granted, understandably, the weather had a lot to do with it, but we're looking to not just replicate that, but to build upon it. So, Dave didn't mention just yet, but it's like, once we do that on December 6th, you look at December 13th and December 20th, or 2 additional Fridays in the month long. But then how does that segue into the spring and into next year? But on the 13th, and Dave, I'm going to look over and say, tell them this is some good exciting things on the 13th, and then we can mention the 20th and then look at next year.
Yeah, so we had on the 6th, we have the Holiday Village in Perry Square that's going to be occupied by Christmas treats and all sorts of activities, shopping to do. The Holiday Village sheds we plan to activate the following 2 Fridays on December 13th and December 20th. December 13th, right now, we're working with the Perry Square Alliance to sell holiday trees in Perry Square, live cut trees that people can come. They could pull their car up, get a tree built, and they could take it home. And working with a lot of groups downtown, maybe to sell smaller trees for apartments, college students, all sorts of living arrangements. And then the following week, we plan to have a live karaoke festival in Perry Square called Perryoke.
Oh my gosh, how clever.
And it'll be part of a whole Home for the Holidays push in downtown to really celebrate downtown Erie as a holiday destination, and hopefully grab a bunch of people who are in town for the holidays. That'll be December 20th, the weekend right before Christmas, and people can come down with their families and enjoy some caroling, some karaoke in Perry Square, and hopefully some craft breweries, more cookies, more cocoa, and just get in the holiday spirit.
Yeah, and that sets it up for, as Dave said, it's our holiday time frame, but we realize we're a year-round community and a year-round downtown. Our big picture vision is really to develop more of an ice festival or a fire and ice fest. You've seen those in other communities, you've experienced those. A lot of what we're looking to do this year is the foundation for what we do in the future. And you have some large staple events. You have our Light Up Night, but you have Celebrate Erie, and you have the Roar on the Shore, and you have Rib Fest, and other events that are occurring in downtown on a larger scale. We're trying to look at, is there an opportunity to create one every month? And again, start to really embrace us as a year-round community, take advantage of the opportunities with our beautiful Bayfront, with the lake. Again, there's more change coming with the whole Bayfront Highway, more buildings, but again, it's the evolution of a community. And for years, and we've kept a lot of the notes and the emails and the phone about what people are looking to do, but ultimately, it's the engagement. I mean, ideally, our events are there for people to come down and enjoy themselves, but also to connect with us. How is it? What else are they looking for? It's not to say that we can do everything, but it's what's fitting, what's really fitting for Erie. And here, a snow event, some Erie ice games. What Dave didn't mention is we have had ice sculptures in the event. We want to do more sculptures, maybe an ice bar. A little ice frame for a photo opportunity, but things like that start to really set it up for not just fun, but just it's part of Erie, it's part of who we are.
Yeah, and then it'll become ingrained in us, and once somebody attends one time, they're going to be back every year because they're going to have so much fun.
Oh, absolutely, and that's our goal. Dave talked about downtown being a destination. We do have our arts and cultural assets that are downtown. You have the Warner Theater going through an upgrade. You have UPMC Park going through an upgrade. You have the Playhouses there, and I mean even just working with Erie Arts and Culture. It's just been a renewed sense of vibrancy, and they have an initiative called Restore the Core that's going on now. But if you really look back, and we get this question all the time: how do I find out what there is to do in downtown? So we've been listening, and our organization, Erie Downtown, is working with our web developer, who's working also with the web developer from Visit Erie, the web developer from Erie Events, and Erie Arts and Culture. It's the same vendor, but we're asking them to make the calendars connect so that consumers and viewers can go to a source and get a total picture of all that there is to do in downtown, most of which are free.
That's very visionary. I'm very glad that you're doing something like that, because when you're being bombarded with a lot of different calendars, I feel like you either throw your hands up or you only look at one calendar. So I think to merge all of them together is a very, very good idea.
Thank you.
You just mentioned a lot of the galleries that are in downtown Erie. And again, if anybody has forgotten about those galleries, just take a weekend, come explore. So again, just mention some of the places that you think, again, people who live here in Erie, maybe it's just not in their mindset or maybe in their tunnel to think of some of these places. So if you just want to list off a few that you didn't already mention.
Well, I'm going to turn to Dave, because part of his role is the engagement. Dave's been going to these businesses and going to these galleries, and it was a way for him to be introduced to the community, but it's really a way for him to connect. So I'm going to have Dave, just because he's been the FaceTime of a lot of the galleries. It's good.
Yeah, and there's an incredible amount of cultural assets in downtown. Talk about the Erie Art Museum, had a phenomenal display for their most recent gallery night, the Erie Art Gallery. There's
Children's Museum.
Children's Museum, Glass Growers Gallery, and then other businesses like Molly Brannigan's and some of the shops along State Street have been participating in gallery night and getting more involved in the arts and culture aspect and really promoting that scene downtown. And it's become a really great destination for arts and culture. And there's plenty. There's the PACA building just across the train tracks.
And what does PACA stand for?
Performing Arts Collective Alliance.
Okay, all right. And so just if people aren't familiar with that acronym, So again, for our viewers who are coming downtown and they think, oh, I haven't been downtown in a while, I want to see all of these changes and this vibrancy. You put together a wonderful map. I want you to talk a little bit about that map, how often it gets updated, where can people park? Is parking easy these days? Parallel parking still terrifies me. So if we could talk a little bit about, again, just getting our viewers downtown.
Correct. Well, we have produced an old school, what we call walking map. It's based off the premise you go to a community or go to even to an airport and they give you the tear-off sheet if you get a rental car. It's two-sided, but ideally it's meant for you to take with you. They are at rest areas. They're in many of the businesses that are in downtown. They're at the library, the Maritime Museum. They're also posted on our website at eriedowntown.com. But ideally, once every year to 2 years max, we will update it with things to do, places to see, restaurants, so on and so forth. And it's scalable in terms of you have the old school printed piece, but then you have the digital version of it. But that's just a tool for us to communicate. We encourage, like other groups, utilize social media. Dave and a woman, Emily, from our office are very active in promoting and keeping the messages out there. But you have the maps themselves. We had a mobile app that we were tied with Visit Erie, and we don't have that link yet, but literally Visit Erie, their mobile app, it has a lot of information. And again, as I can reference again, the connectivity to the websites, I think is a great opportunity. But just moving forward, I think it's just a matter of when you see us or you see another business, just feel free to ask a question and reach out to us via email or by text somehow.
And again, what I want to ask, there is a lot of parking downtown.
Oh yes, I'm sorry.
So that's okay. I just didn't want to forget about it. Because,
I apologize for that, Jessica, because a key partner and we work together is the Erie Parking Authority. What most people don't know are the ramps themselves. They're at capacity. They're not even at capacity. I mean, during the day, sometimes throughout the workday, but some of those ramps have parking available. But on the weekends, it's free parking. When that gate is up, it's parking for free, and that's from Friday night through late Sunday night. It's an opportunity for our community to come downtown, and those ramps are strategically located. It's only a few blocks from most establishments. But if you truly look at like the 10th Street ramp, how it's close proximity to a few eating and drinking establishments, but ultimately to the Playhouse, to the Warner Theater, to UPMC Park, and you get a chance to see the Otters or see the Seawolves or the Hawks. I mean, it's just an opportunity for parking. I know the Erie Parking Authority, their website, I believe they've added some changes, but ideally, even on our site, there's a link that says where to park.
Okay.
And it's just, but you're seeing more of that change. They're also going from the ramps and meters, but now there's the app, Easy Meter. It's a parking app that you don't have to worry about carrying quarters. So that's just the advancement of our downtown community.
Yeah, and that is the one thing I was going to say. If I am terrified of parallel parking, my next thought is how many quarters do I have in the car?
Well, if you park at Perry Square, it's back in angle parking.
Yes.
Again, people, because it's just parallel parking is still a challenge, but Perry Square, when it was redesigned, back in angle parking. And a lot of that was done with the premise you can back in and easily get to your trunk if you happen to have a stroller, if you happen to have bags.
That's
that
true.
That is the reality of what makes it much, and it's safer that way too when you go to pull out into traffic.
Yeah.
But again, around Perry Square, you'll have that back in angle parking.
Yeah, and our show is just about coming to a close here. What I want to ask you both before our show ends, what takeaway message do you want to leave our viewers with today?
I'm going to turn this to Dave.
Well, and from my point of view, from events, we want people to know that we're working very hard to make Erie a safe, fun, and welcoming downtown. We're working hard to create plenty of events that appeal to all sorts of different people, family sizes, backgrounds, ages, everything. So we're trying to make downtown Erie a destination for everyone.
Yeah, and I would emulate that. Just that, keep in mind that, like I said, there's change coming, and we are so appreciative of the opportunity we have to serve the community. And Dave says it's our goal to make it safe, fun, and welcoming in downtown.
Thank you guys so much for coming here today. Again, I am just so excited by all of your events. I really hope that people, again, attend your events and engage in your surveys and really tell you guys what they're thinking, because you guys really have implemented what the community wants.
Thank you.
So for that, we're really, really grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining the show.
Thanks for having us.
Viewers, again, we went over so much today. You're going to be impressed by, again, all of the renovations that have gone on downtown, and Again, the Erie Downtown Partnership has a wonderful website, a wonderful map, and so many great events coming up. I'm excited for you to check everything out, and just remember to come on down because we want you to visit downtown Erie. So thank you for tuning in to the Millcreek Government Channel, and until next time, have a great day.